Hi there. Just finishing up with the sample. Never miss. Well, you know, we all get safety training when it comes to working with radioactive materials. Blah, blah, blah. Don't tell the RSO I said that. Well, this little blue pig right here is going to make things easier for all of us. It's the NENSure packaging system from PerkinElmer. So what's the big deal? Well, if you paid attention during training, you know there are 3 things to consider for radiation safety: time, distance, and shielding. This little blue thing here will take care of all 3. Handling radioactive materials has never been easier or safer, and it'll help prevent you from having a bad day in the lab. And we all know what that's like. Oh. Oh. Now that's what I call a bad day in the lab. Okay, let's move on to shielding. Now I know a lot of you are thinking, what about lead? Good old PB. Thanks, Ma. Yeah, well, you know, lead does make excellent shielding for radiation such as P32, but it isn't very environmentally friendly and requires its own safe handling guidelines. Your radiation safety officer will keep you within limits. So, how much radiation is emitted from one of these NENSure packaging systems? Say you're working with 1 millicurie of P32, you'd have to hold this container in your hand for 8,000 hours to reach yearly dose limits. You do the math. Okay, I'll do the math. 8,000 hours, that's 333 1/3 days. I mean, I know we work long days in the lab, but, okay. That's it for this back. All right, thank you. Oh, now, you may want that extra bit of protection, and your facility may require the use of lead, and PerkinElmer will be happy to ship in lead. But better yet, ship in blue, and then we'll ship you a reusable lead pig in your next shipment. It's better for the environment. Now on to the good stuff. So how does this thing work? Well, first of all, everything's enclosed in this outer container. It's labeled on the outside so you know which material you're working with, so you don't have to get up close and personal to find out what's inside. Oh, and it has this really interesting feature on the top here, which, stay tuned, I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so you're ready to start to work with your material. Take the top of the container off like that, and there's your vial. Yeah, now, you see this white material on the inside of the container? That's an absorbent material to contain spills and drips. So now what? Take your hand and start to unscrew the top of the vial, right? Wrong. Remember time, distance, and shielding. Remember that nice design on top of the cap? It's a wrench. Fits right on top of the vial. No big deal, right? Well, it's the little things that keeps you safe and keeps health physics happy. So, you unscrew the top of the vial. And there you have it. The vial's stable, and on top of your little cap is Teflon septum to ensure all the material stays in the vial, lessening the chances of contamination. And on the bottom of the vial is a V-shaped insert, so your pipette tip could get down there and get every last microliter. I gotta tell you, this is so much better than the other packaging systems I've used in the past. Wow, am I glad I don't have to work like that anymore. Did you see that apron and those gloves? Way before Casual Friday. I think it was Thursday. Anyway, it's the time, distance, and shielding thing. That's why this system is so great. Your exposure time is minimal, and your chances for spills and contaminations is reduced. Okay, let's get back to work. So, you don't have to remove the vial from the container, because as you saw earlier, you know what you're working with by the label on the container. And the vial, the square vial, stays in the container and it's secure in there, so it's easy to work with and less chances of spills. Also, you know what you're working with because the material is colored. So So you can see it right there in the pipette tip. No reason to get up close and personal to see what you have in there. Again, keeping your distance. Never miss. So that takes care of our distance requirement. Now each time you'll be working behind a shield. So, you're done with your sample. So you take the lid of the vial, put it on top, take your handy dandy super duper NENSure wrench, and tighten it right up. Now, you can use the material as many times as you want, and each time you open and close the vial, you'll be limiting your exposure, keeping those dosimeter readings low and your lab bench contamination-free. So there you have it. Now, looking back on radiation safety, we've reduced our time working with the sample because it's easy to open the vial. We're keeping the material at a distance because the pigs are labeled and the products are colored so that we can easily see them. And the additional shielding provided by NENSure packaging makes working with radioactive materials easy. And make sure you don't have a bad day in the lab. NENSure packaging isn't just for P32 labeled products. PerkinElmer ships all NEN radiochemicals like P33, S35, I-125, C14, and tritium labeled products in the NENSure system except a few that require special ampules. Pretty colorful, don't you think? The NENSure packaging system is available only from PerkinElmer. Well, time to get back to work. Thanks for watching. Oh, missed.